I keep having flashbacks. I remember the day that my brother rode into Jerusalem as if he was a king. And a few days later, they arrested him. They arrested him for what? For being kind? For being a great teacher? For healing people? I remember that day, late in the day. I see Jesus kneeling and washing the feet of his disciples, as if he was their servant. And he led the men out into the Garden of Gethsemane. And he told some of the disciples to stay back and pray. But pray for what? Pray for strength. I heard him as he went on ahead. And I heard him praying to God, Father, if it is your will, let this cup pass from me. And the groaning that came from his voice was so intense. A few minutes later, I see a crowd coming from one side, and it's being led by Judas. And there are Roman soldiers and temple guards. And Judas walks right over to my brother, puts his hands on my brother's shoulders, kisses him on the cheek, as if it's a sign that this is the man you want. How crass. With that, the soldiers grab Jesus and they start to take him away. About that time, Peter draws his sword and cuts the ear off of Malchus. Jesus looks at him and says, put the sword away. And then he bends down, he picks up that servant's ear, puts it back on his head, and heals him. Even as Jesus is being arrested, he's healing. He's doing good. He's being kind to people. They're starting to take him away, and all of a sudden, some of the guards start chasing us. We just scatter. We realize they didn't really care about us. They just didn't want us around to cause problems. Early the next morning, I decided I got to get back into Jerusalem. See if there's anything I can do to help my brother. As I'm getting ready to leave, Mother says, I'm coming with you. I said, Mother, it's not safe. She says, I don't care. I'm coming with you. So we make our way into Jerusalem. The closer we get to all of the official buildings in Jerusalem, we're hearing crowds starting to mumble and murmur. And I hear this one crowd, and they're yelling out, Barabbas! We want Barabbas! And another crowd over here is saying, we want Jesus! He is our king! The Barabbas crowd won. By this time, Jesus has been shuffled back and forth between Herod and Caiaphas and Pilate, and back and forth, and he's back in front of Pilate. Along the way into town, we found John. And he's been telling us all the things that have been going on. And Pilate says, I find no fault in this man. And he reaches over, there's a basin of water. He washes his hands as if it's a ceremony. And he says, I'm not going to do anything. I'll have him beaten, but he's your problem. They take that crossbeam and they attach it to the upright post, and they force Jesus to lie down on his back, and he's laying there with his arms out on that crossbeam. And another soldier comes with this huge mallet and these spikes. And he starts driving these spikes into my brother's hands. Stop it! With every blow of that mallet, you can hear his anguish. You can hear the screams of horror. And you got so many people that are there just laughing. Next morning, I wake up. I got to get out and I got to think about this. There's a beautiful grove behind the house a little bit. I just head out there and I'm just wandering around and pacing. What in the world is going on? I started remembering all the times that Jesus had together, working in Father's shop, working out in the fields, helping Mother around the house. And Jesus would go away for 2, 3, 4 days at a time. And he'd always come back, and he would frequently say that he was spending time with the Father. I said, no, the Father's back in the shop, and I've been carrying your weight as well as mine, doing your chores, remember? And then he'd come on and he'd say, what I mean is I've been spending time with our Heavenly Father, and he's been teaching me things from the prophet Isaiah. And I started thinking about all those things that Jesus was sharing. Oh, we like sheep have gone astray. By his scourgings you are healed. Like a lamb standing before the slaughter. He stood there silently. Wait a second. Wait a second. Jesus was just scourged yesterday. He stood in front of Pilate and didn't say a word. Like a lamb before the slaughter. He stood silently. By his scourging, we are healed. Oh my God. Oh my God. Isaiah was saying what would happen to Jesus. He knew it. He knew this was going to happen. He knew he was supposed to die. I'm going to go find the others. I take off, I get back to the house, and I burst through the doors, and I just start rambling on and on about what God has just revealed to me. They think I've been out in the sun too long, or I'm thirsty or something. Just relax, James. Just relax.